well, then no.
No, I'm
But
kidding.
it's
But
all
yeah, dude.
either way, dude. If you're serious about it, dude, we're just real people, man. And we'll talk to you if you're cool, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Not too complicated.
Right. Where are you going after Texas?
Oklahoma.
And what you're going back up to the East Coast?
Nah, then we're busting more west, bro. Then hitting the West Coast up.
Something.
Yeah.
Bit of a jump from Texas to Oklahoma, isn't it?
No.
Just right north.
I'm not brilliant with my states.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. I was
Geography,
fair enough.
sometimes
Well, it depends on where you are.
I wouldn't know anything about over there, bro. So yeah,
Especially
dude, West
Dallas
Coast.
was your last stop. If you were going from like Houston and Austin to Dallas, then Oklahoma would be the next place. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a nice spot we're gonna kick up there by a lake, and we're gonna go west along the back to the coast. Yeah. Yep. Grand Canyon mountains, blah blah blah.
Going back up north to the East Coast at all? Because I know Jeremy actually was interested. I'm supposed to go meet up with him. At least we were talking about it yesterday. But yeah, he was interested if you guys were going back to New York.
Yeah, because that is the idea, right? So we'll go all the way west, hit the coast, pop back up the West Coast, going north, and then head back over east, back across the U.S., then hit everyone else on the top side.
So,
Yep.
Some Canadians maybe go to Vancouver and
Maybe, but it's such a clown world, dude. Canada's freaking out per usual. So I don't know. I do know some pretty base people there, Redford Bears from there, but I don't know if it's
Vancouver
feasible.
Island is beautiful, by the way, if you haven't been there.
Where's that?
Vancouver Island.
Oh, yeah. I heard Canada is really pretty.
Oh, I like Canada. I mean, I've been east and west coast. Yeah, I always thought Oklahoma was further north. Oh, my bad. So sorry about that.
No worries.
it's about as far from Dallas as I am from Dallas, basically.
Yeah, it's one of the flyover states. I'm not very good with them because I haven't been there.
Yeah, what's really funny, I guess that I don't really know, and not to be rude, but particularly care everyone's feelings about this in this room. But anyway, apparently Joe Biden gave some type of executive order that wasn't real, or it was, or who cares because it's not anyway, that you have to wear a mask on federal property. Dude, the first time Nathan and I are together in public, after I fly there, we go into the post office, and literally, like, the entire post office turned on us like zombies because we weren't wearing masks, bro, and it was wild. And then the guy's like, 6 feet apart. I'm like, dude, we literally just drove here in a van right beside each other. Like, what are you talking about? And
What state was that?
It's in Virginia, and everyone in the post office was like, someone else was like, why are you not wearing your mask? We had to proceed to teach them what the PCR test was, what it even stands for, the process of what it actually claims to do. We had to go through, this dude's trying to say it's a law because Biden said so. I'm like, no, that's called congressional powers, right? But it was like 5 or 6 people, bro. It was really mind-blowing. So we're kind of expecting to maybe it have to deal with that more than was expected, because apparently people legit think they live in like Nazi Germany, and since Hitler gave an order, we literally have to do what they say. It's really weird because now I guess that in that time there was probably people running around policing it, and that's what we effectively have now.
Or people look at the statistics and see that you have 4% of the world's population and over 20% of the world's deaths, and that could be concerning.
Well, we have a lot of deaths. Are you talking about in the United States? Yeah, we have a lot of deaths because they crammed a lot of people, specifically minorities, into poverty-ridden areas, and poverty breeds crime, and then they created dependence on the state. And so whenever poverty breeds crime, and then you break up the household, well, yeah, of course you're going to have death.
Are you guys taking...
We're also very unhealthy.
Yeah, but I mean, you can look at other places that have equal or worse violence records, and they don't seem to have the same level of infection rate due to
morbidity. Yeah, we're super unhealthy. Yeah, we're super obese and unhealthy.
Have control.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Again, you're not the most obese country in the world. Well, probably one of them.
Yeah, we're pretty bad, dude.
Yeah, okay, I was going to withdraw that. I realized that was a bit of a
you know why, dude? You know why? Because no one eats anything but processed food anymore. So, and no one works out. They just play video games. So, dun.
I got a question your kid, because I see you guys post videos and stuff, but it'd be interesting. You guys are doing this whole tour, and you said the thing about the post office. I'm not sure if you were recording then, but it should be interesting if you were recording like almost all the time, and then like later cut it, like the stuff that was interesting or something like that.
Yeah, we got that. We got that recorded. We have so much content that's coming. It's going to almost be too much. So that's kind of our point too. Is like just going in public now, literally just not being a cuck to the system. Now you almost have to get in confrontations, no matter how nice you try to be. So, and we have it all recorded. So I mean, that's inevitable content.
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's almost like unfortunate, but it is what it is. Because we're just gonna have to go around. We're trying to tell people they were deceived about the nature of where they live. But golly, can we get in the door? We gotta tell you about how you don't have any idea what COVID is. Oh, the flu disappeared the same year. Oh, now you get to tell me orders. Like, what's going on? It's ridiculous. So we don't want to drown in that. But yeah, we're gonna get a lot of content, bro. So no worries.
But Witsit, the flu didn't disappear. People are still getting
No,
flu.
it just went down 93% because everyone started complying to totalitarian government. Of course. No, you didn't know that magic germ particles in the air that sporadically bounce around listen to totalitarian governments?
No, it's
We have
about
vaccines.
it's when you actually have separation between people, you'll find that infectious diseases.
Except for
will not
COVID.
infect
Apparently
people.
COVID doesn't care about that.
COVID is about 3 times more infectious.
That's
than the
crazy.
flu.
That's crazy because you can't tell the difference between COVID and the flu, literally
Yes, you
based on what
can.
the CDC says, what the PCR test
No,
does, and says you don't need to interrupt when you're uninformed, my friend. And ironically, the same year that they said COVID, which has the same exact symptoms as the flu, by the way,
It doesn't.
the flu went away 93%. But don't worry, that's why we can cripple all your businesses, make you all dependent on the state, make sure you cannot sustain yourself in any type of way, cripple the entire economy, give you all kinds of totalitarian orders, and make you live in a new world government that we're going to reset for you because now you're crippled.
Yeah. Again, I kind of disagree with pretty much all of that statement.
But your disagreement is quite irrelevant. So do you know who came up with the PCR test? Who came up with the PCR test?
It doesn't matter who came up with it.
Okay, what did he say about it since he invented it? Do you know? He said this cannot be used to detect infectious viruses. Guess what happened to this guy? Oh, he died 2 months before COVID. And before they started running it's just a coincidence though. And the guy that literally invented it said that it can't do what they're claiming that it's doing. But no big deal, dude. Because you don't believe it.
Would you provide a citation for that?
Yes, dude. Sure, I'll give you a citation of the guy that invented the PCR test. Yeah, it's coming. Don't worry.
No.
So now we can move on. We don't just talk about out of ignorance. That's what dumb people do, bro.
Again, what
That's what people think the Earth's a ball do, bro.
Okay, fine.
All right. Glad I got that covered. So, speaking of, we're actually gonna go test the Earth. If y'all have any requests,
What kind of tests you guys do? Because actually, that's why I'm meeting up with Jeremy. We're probably gonna do some tests with GPS. It's not that interesting to you guys, but what kind of tests are you guys doing?
yeah, GPS isn't interesting. You're right. GPS isn't particularly interesting to me because that use case was long before they put the word global in there, and literally has nothing to do with the globe at all. But it would be more, long distance observations, like certainly with cooperative conditions. Very beautiful specular reflections is a good thing to have. Time lapses. We're gonna prove that apparently Glovers are afraid to ever go test anything. We're just dumb because we test it and they do nothing. So we're gonna go see if the stars ever intersect the marine horizon, because literally Glovers are afraid to do that because once again they're literally scared of going and finding out that maybe the Earth isn't what they were told. But anyway, we're also going to take, of course, a lot of time lapses. We're going to let y'all spiral and explain how we're seeing different supposed rotations in the same portion of a sky in the same direction literally all over the United States. It's going to be a good time. If you have any other suggestions.
It's going to take some pretty damn clear skies to see most stars intersecting the horizon. The brightest
Why
one...
are you giving us advice on how to look at the stars when you're the one that's in the group?
Because I don't actually care
about. Oh, thanks for being honest. You don't actually care.
I don't actually care
about where you live, or that you maybe don't even know what it's like.
Opinion on what you're doing. Can I talk?
Yeah, you guys got to take turns, right?
Yeah. I'm just wondering why the stars specifically and not like the sun or the moon. Do you think they're different?
Oh, well, I wasn't done. Yeah, you just responded.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to do something different?
Do you think that you could calm down? All right,
Just
thanks,
asking.
dude. Well, you don't know anything about testing the earth. You just proved that, and you say you didn't care. So the ones that are literally going to do it, I'll tell you how we're going to do it. We don't need your commentary, dude. It's literally worthless. So anyway, we're going to go make long-distance observations, and then we're going to look at the stars. And we can also, of course, look at the sun and the moon, because they constantly debunk your model. Maybe we'll run across the infamous Selenilian eclipse or some other eclipses, which are all impossible on your model. You can't even prove the motion and the equations yet. Anyway.
Was that
Okay, I guess you weren't going to address what I brought up.
Oh, the sun and the moon? What are you talking about?
I asked you, do you think that they're going to do something different than the stars?
Do I think that they're going to do something different than the stars?
Yeah.
That's your question?
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I know what I think. I want to know what you think.
Oh, you're positive that's your question. Okay. So is the sun and the moon going to do different things than the stars?
As far as at the horizon, yeah.
At the horizon. Well, have you ever seen the stars intersect the marine horizon?
I hadn't had a good chance to do.
Well, then no, they don't do the same
observations
thing,
at
bro.
the beach.
Well, that took a long time. You have no idea. You literally proved my
I
premise,
do
which
have
was
an
that.
idea. I
Wait,
wanna know
listen,
what
my
yours
friend.
is, if you
Okay,
have
listen.
one.
No,
guys,
basically,
you got to be fair.
as opposed to ideas.
Tiger hasn't gotten to really finish anything he's been saying.
But he's just saying that he hasn't tested it, Kosho, and he's trying to somehow commentate on how it should be done.
I'm
but
not
he said he doesn't
commentating. I'm
care.
asking a question. Damn it! Listen, and you
Yeah,
might
you're
know
asking
that.
a question of ignorance that I've already answered.
Yes, I'm ignorant of what your opinion is because you haven't said it
What?
yet. You've danced
Okay, I'll
around the
explain to
topic.
you. Okay, calm down. I'll calm down too. The reason that it was extremely ignorant was because my preface was that we don't have any footage or evidence that the stars intersect the marine horizon. We're going to go and try and find if it actually exists because the globe earthers are stupid and complacent and brainwashed people that won't go test it for themselves. Then you asked me after that something about what's the difference with the sun and the moon and the stars in the horizon. I'm like, are you not listening, bro?
That's
fine. You're wanting to go and figure out. I wanted to know if you had any preconceived idea of what it might be.
Oh, yeah, it's not going to intersect with the marine horizon.
Okay. Well, my opinion is, just on the test, that it's going to be rather hard to do that for most stars. You might have luck with, say, some of the brightest ones like Sirius or something.
Hey, man, I don't want to hear about your opinions of what you think I might have luck with of a bright star that might occasionally hit it. We're going to go see if it ever hits it. Glover should have been doing this already, though.
Let's like her to finish, though.
You could debunk us and shut down the Clown World Tour before it gets started.
Witsit. He's trying to get to a point. You keep interrupting him, mate.
He's beta gamma spiraling at the moment. That's the problem.
Oh, I'm gamma spiraling. Yeah, good one. No, he ignored my preface and the moderation, even though I think Kosho's cool, is he's being put in a tough position because the dude's not being honest with debating. So what am I supposed to do? He literally asked the question he asked the question that proved he didn't even listen to what
This is where you're off track, mate. He's not debating. He's asking questions. All right?
Yeah,
slow down.
Okay,
Slow your mind down.
But even in a conversation,
slow your mind down, mate, and just listen to him. Come on, be fair.
Okay.
Yeah, have you planned on like which stars you're going to be looking for? Are you looking for the brightest ones that are
any of the stars that cross the marine horizon?
Okay.
Okay. So maybe you should go try to find it, since it should literally have to happen on your model.
Oh yeah, they're going to cross it. It's just a matter of whether the air is going to be clear enough for it to be visible.
Oh, you know they're going to cross it. It's just a matter of whether or not the air is going to let them be visible. But you've never gone and tried to see it, don't know if it can be seen or if it's ever happened. But you know that it would happen, that it does happen.
Yeah.
Wow. What a clown, bro. That's pathetic, bro.
But I'll just say that is entirely consistent with everything that I have personally observed and would be very, very strange if it wasn't. Because anything else would be entirely inconsistent with everything I've personally observed.
Slacker or anybody? What?
Why was I muted?
I have no idea. Can somebody describe what you guys are talking about? I didn't hear what exactly.
Yeah. Like,
well,
y'all think that we. Yeah, y'all think we live on a ball.
Just say again.
Y'all think we live on a ball that defies physics and a vacuum that's spinning, and that's why the stars look like they move. So, in order for that to be true, one thing that would have to happen is the stars would have to intersect the marine horizon.
What's the marine horizon exactly?
The horizon over the water, Kosha.
Well, I didn't know. I never heard
It's all good.
Okay.
But so, like, if you
Marine
look over the
horizon.
ocean, the star should intersect that horizon, dude, if we're on a spinning ball. They never
Square
do.
enough, yeah.
They literally never do, guys.
I mean, but when you say that, you're saying like the stars that are above the horizon and then they appear to go below the horizon like that?
Yeah, bro. Like, you should see the apparent descent of the stars to the meeting of the marine horizon on a spinning ball.
Well, good luck with that. I mean, I think I've certainly seen that, but I don't have any like video footage of it.
You never seen it, Kosha. But you know, maybe you'll one day
Who
find
were
it.
you to tell people
You're
what they've
just
seen?
making stuff up, bro.
He just now.
I was in the Navy and I've been on on vacation on cruises, but I've also been on
That sucks because you probably
Yeah, see,
knew
now
what to
that's
look for.
someone who's had plenty of
That's a
opportunity
cool
to see this.
story.
Yeah. Wait, time out, Kosho. And Kosho, every time he made those observations, he saw nothing but flat water. That was assuming that, so it could even travel to be on the water. But yeah,
you don't
Kosho,
get
that's
to tell people
unfortunate
what they've
because if
seen.
I'm talking to Kosho, who's somewhat intelligent at least, I'm saying, yeah, Kosho, that would be cooler if now you knew what to look for, right, in those situations, because it's very simple. There would have to be an intersection at the marine horizon.
Sure, yeah, I'd be interested to see this test too. It something I never heard that expressed that way before.
Yeah. So we're just gonna get all kinds of evidences, man, and go test every aspect we can. We're not scared of the truth. We just want the truth.
Gojo, I've been talking about stars not intersecting the marine horizon for like 4 years, bro. Like literally 4 years.
Interesting, man. I don't know. Where Slacker? Do you mind? What part of the country do you live at, Slacker?
Central Alabama. I mean, I've been to the beach plenty of times, but that's facing south. There's usually plenty of bright lights to the east or west.
I used to live in Virginia, as well as being on a ship, and usually, yeah, in Virginia, as long as you can see the stars, they do rise from over the ocean as well.
Yeah, I'm sure if I paid attention as a particular bright star far enough south were rising, I could have found it, but I hadn't noticed.
Where are you guys when you do that test? Where were you planning to try to make that observation from? Marine horizon test that you guys are talking about. What's it in?
Yeah, well, I told you the test, man. It's
I was just saying,
rudimentary level,
part of
but
country.
check this out. So this is some gravy. You know how on?
Sorry, guys.
Hey, I'm talking, dude. Yeah.
Sorry.
So everyone seems to say God, 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 God when referencing the Creator. You know, those of us who aren't dumb enough to not acknowledge the inevitable design of where we live. But it's interesting because it seems like people that do some really dark, morbid things have no problem saying God, God, God. Well, we have come to find out that, in fact, the reason they don't mind putting "In God We Trust" on the back of your money is actually a Babylonian deity for fortune and luck. So it's literally a Babylonian deity about money. That's why it's on there. That's why they all say God. Pretty interesting, right? So that's not even the actual name of the Creator. And people also say Jesus, and that wasn't the name of Yeshua. So it's quite interesting. Both of the names of this supposed fairy tale were super grappled, and everyone says God, and Lord actually translates to the antithetical of that being Baal.
I don't think anyone who pays attention thinks God is the name of the Christian God.
Yeah, she would be surprised. I mean, no, you're right. But they just say God and Lord and Jesus Christ, and none of those are in the actual scriptures.
Well, yeah, that's because you weren't supposed to write down the name. You wrote down the what's it called, tetragrammaton, and no one pronounced that, so it was just translated.
Well, you're telling me what you're telling me a Jewish interpretation. Sure, fair enough, but it's much closer to the truth. Yes, it's much closer to the truth. Yes. There's a different translation now. I'm learning Hebrew right now. But anyway, no, Yahweh is another grabbler trick. But anyway, so hallelujah. Dude, when you start studying Hebrew, it'll blow your mind. Everything. Everything. You can pick any verse, dude.
They grapple everything.
You can
song.
Dude,
everything.
Literally, and just with subject-verb agreement mistranslations, they can change the entire context of things. And I'm like, oh, this didn't happen often. Someone would have caught it. No, it's literally right there, everywhere. It's insane, bro. Like, it tells a whole different story. No one even knows what the scripts actually say because they don't know what the language is actually saying.
I've been saying that to a lot of Christians before, but I speak Hebrew. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, bro. I'm
Yeah,
learning
outside
it.
of like your Baptists and other more simple common denominations, the topic of translations comes up a lot.
So Mohadim, Kosho, you know what that is?
Mohadim. No, maybe my
Appointments.
appointments.
Yeah, appointments. What many people would call like the feast. There's a appointed times where Yah, the creator, like set out where you're supposed to do certain things, and it's like this. You have this really personable relationship. One of them was going to the wilderness for a week, and etc.
Wait, Kosho, are you pretending to know Hebrew right now?
No, I got paid to speak Hebrew in the Navy even.
All right.
I usually when I'm referencing the Bible, like I used to have a diehard Christian that worked for me, and we would actually end up interpreting stuff from the King James over to New International Version and then
praise
to
God,
Hebrew.
bro.
Yeah.
Praise God. I'd love to bring you over, bro. I've been thinking maybe Team Skeptic, maybe Fight the Flat Earth will figure out where we live. But if it's you, even better, bro. So be happy to be a Flat Earth brother of yours, Kosho. So.
Yeah, Witsit. Mohadib means little mouse of the desert.
Moadim is the plural for. See, my pronunciations could be off, right? I'm literally just now starting to get ready to teach myself. But Moadim, the plural form of Moed. So Moed, the singular form of appointment. Moadim, appointments. And then you have what people call the Sabbath, Shalom. No. What Shabbat, right?
Shabbat, Shalom,
yeah, and it's what would be we call Saturday, which of course is still Sabbatos.
Sabbath day, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there's just like this entire layout with the sky, and it's explained in Hebrew. It's actually all very simple, and it's all been grabbled, as in all been changed, messed with. Doctrines of men have flooded it and changed every part of it. So why?
I called Jesus in the Hebrew Bible about 2,000 years before.
No, there wasn't. There was nothing named Jesus 2,000 years ago, man. What are you talking about?
Jesus? Who's Jesus?
Yeah.
There wasn't even a J until like the 1400s?
Oh, no,
1600s.
Fucking Yahweh wanted, or Jesus, or
Okay, it's Yeshua.
Yeshua, that's it.
Okay, yeah, well, put some respect on the only person ever to defy death's name, maybe.
I mean, apparently they've worked out that...
or not.
Yeah, or not. It's certainly up to you. That's the whole point.
Emperor Nero was the beast, apparently.
Say again.
Emperor Nero was the devil, apparently.
Don't know what you're talking about, man.
Nero, one of the Roman...
Oh, Nero. I thought I said Impera or something. Sorry.
It wasn't Emperor, yeah. It was...
So what about him?
He was a Caesar. He was, yeah.
What about him?
Fucking... Oh, it was the devil.
What? Who's the devil? Is that in the Hebrew text?
Yeah, the letters of his name add up to the fucking number.
Is the devil in the Hebrew text?
I think maybe his number is...
Oh, that seems to be another fairy tale people thinks in text.
There's 666 numbers in there. And 616 is in there as well.
Okay, so anyway, the point here is you just don't know what you're talking about, and it's okay. But actually, it's a good thing because now if you decide to swallow your pride and go look into it, you won't have to deal with what a lot of people have to deal with, which is getting rid of all the indoctrination, right? Like I was raised, quote unquote, Baptist. I've heard tons of the stories in the Bible with the interpretation. That's how I learned the stories. I have to unlearn them. That's why I empathize with those smarter people on the globe side, certainly those that have degrees, like, say, an astrophysicist or aerospace engineer or something, because they learned a lot of it. It's a lot different, right, to reverse the indoctrination. It's similar with the earth. This has a lot to do with pride and ego, though, is the blunt, hard truth. That's what it actually is. But the flat earthers that can move quicker to accepting that truth oftentimes don't have as much indoctrination, so they don't have to swallow as much pride. It's not really that they're more humble, it's that there's not as much ego to swallow, if you're following me. So it's the same way with this. You actually have a benefit if you've kind of dismissed it until you go and look and see what it literally says.
It is one of the hardest things in the world is to swallow your ego while you're having a conversation. I know I fucking find it hard myself. I understand. You've just got to get your point out, haven't you? Because it's fresh in your mind and you want the point given, but you just can't do it. So you get so frustrated not being able to get your point across. I get you.
Yeah. I try to work on it, man.
I know. I try to, but you know, patience is a virtue, I guess.
Yeah.
To like blow your point away, but I do get you. Yeah, it's there are a lot of misinterpretations across the Bibles because they were all translated in different languages across all that fucking time, and a lot of it got lost in translation. So you know.
Yeah, well, the part that should be interesting to anybody that's intellectually honest is it didn't really get lost in translation. It was deliberately mistranslated.
Oh, misinterpreted deliberately.
Yeah, dude. No, yeah, misinterpreted, mistranslated, everything like deliberately.
Wow.
That's what makes it so crazy, bro. For real, you know, because that should make you step back and be like, wait, what? Why? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Politically influenced creative translations of King James.
Yeah.
King
James.
Okay, political influence.
Translation.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, King James. He also published a book on demonology, and then the 1611 version, which the original version had the 14 apocryphal texts that were removed in 1684, I think. But that's long after it had been messed with, right? So that's just like the cherry on top. Yeah, the KJV and all English translations of the scripts are super grabbled.
Witsit, these atheistic, dogmatic zealots are not going to get God until they kind of get the black swan. Now, they seem to think that the horizon is physical. I had a discussion with them the other day, and they just can't get their head around how the horizon is not physical. So, I don't know if you want to go through that and explain to them that they don't have a geometric horizon.
Well, Kimo, it's funny you say that, dude, because I was just trying to tell him earlier that we're going to go actually test the Earth because it appears that a lot of the people here that talk crazy about flat Earth, they actually are afraid to do so or something. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to go down the coast. We're going to go down the coast along long stretches of bodies of water that obviously don't curve, and we'll make long distance observations. We're also talking about how knowing that the horizon isn't a physical location, it's just an apparent location. An apparent horizon is actually redundant. It's where the sky appears to meet the ground, and it's just constantly fluctuating based on atmospheric conditions and observer height, etc., etc. We were going to go and try to see if we ever see the stars intersect with the marine horizon, because if we're on a ball that defies physics in a vacuum with gas spinning around it, then we would have to actually see the supposed perception of star movement, because it's actually dependent upon our movement, intersecting with the marine horizon. Yet we never see this. And every time we seem to ask Globers, can you provide us evidence of this? Have you ever seen it? There's got to be footage of it. It has to happen all the time.
What do you mean by intersecting?
They'll never test it. But we're going to go just get tons of time lapse proving it doesn't ever happen,
What do you mean? What do you mean by intersecting with the marine horizon?
Which part of that is being...
He wants to watch the stars set.
Is that what you mean?
No. Yeah, if you think that if you really think that we live on a...
I just wanted to get the words you were using. I was just trying to get what you're trying to describe.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, like the stars just have to, intersect with the horizon over the water, the marine horizon.
Why do you think they don't do that?
So you want to just get some footage of it? You want to watch the stars set over the horizon.
I want them to intersect with the marine horizon.
Why do you think they don't do that?
They don't? Well, can you provide evidence they do, Scott?
No, I'm just asking you why you don't think they do.
No. Why do you think they do?
I don't necessarily. I'm asking you.
Oh, well, the reason I don't think they do, the reason I don't think they do is because they never do.
Well, I mean, how have you tested this, or how have you looked?
Well, we never see them ever doing it. It's very easy to falsify that. All you have to do is see it one time. Kind of like all we have to do is see that your horizon isn't physical one time.
Have you ever? I mean, have you looked, or I'm just?
Yes,
I haven't even looked, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, well, that's the difference here, Scott. Flat Earthers typically don't speak from a place of ignorance. That's what globe earthers do, because it's zealotry.
That's what I'm
They
asking.
don't
How have you
cross
looked?
the horizon, Scott. The
Well,
marine horizon does not
What
intersect
did you
with
do to
stars.
look into this? Is what I'm asking.
All you have to do is look at time lapse over bodies of water, Scott.
But where
Are
did
you
you
just
find these
looking
time
at
lapses?
like reasonable, normal camera exposures? You
Yeah,
probably
dude.
want to take
Prime
long
condition.
exposures.
Okay, and prime conditions, no light pollution. We're gonna do all of it because the Globers
Okay.
won't do it. Yeah, don't worry. We're gonna do it like always.
But how have you? But you haven't done it yet.
To get the doctor.
What kind of camera equipment you got?
We're gonna
Just
go do
curious.
it more, Scott. What hasn't been done yet is one person on your side that believes in pseudoscience, brought to you by authoritative figures that indoctrinated us since childhood, is they went out and tested to see if, in fact, it does intersect, because you would just have to see it do it one time to show it happening.
Yeah.
Why can't NASA show us that, Scott?
I'm looking at a bunch of
Because-
pictures of it right now.
You're looking at pictures of stars intersecting with the marine horizon.
Yeah, exactly.
Astronomers typically want to avoid looking at things
No, you're
close to the horizon
What do you
because of the atmosphere.
All right, link it, Scott.
Okay, hold on. Big good one.
Do you know what kind of camera equipment you're going to bring yet?
We have all kinds of cameras, man. What kind of cameras are you going to bring to test the Earth?
Oh, I've tested the Earth with all kinds of stuff. I mean, tested is a strong word. I've done
just name one thing,
lots
then.
of personal observations that confirm the Earth.
Well, just name one thing.
I got a telescope and a camera and an equatorial mount.
Name one thing you did that substantiated your claim that the Earth's a ball that defies physics, please.
I set up an equatorial mount from different latitudes.
You set up an equatorial mount from different latitudes, and how did this prove the Earth was a ball?
Because they don't work if it's not a ball.
They don't work if the Earth's not a ball? That's your claim?
Yep, that's geometry.
Okay, so they don't work if the Earth's not a ball. Just because you baselessly assert that then makes it objective?
I'm not going to go into the details of the geometry. You can
Okay,
go
well,
look up
explain to
an
me how it
equatorial
is
mount
that
works.
it literally is impossible if the Earth's not a globe.
Hmm?
I'm not going to say it's not possible.
Oh, you don't
if you're
even
not a
know.
globe.
Oh, that took a long time. What's your next proof?
It is impossible if the Earth is the typical modern flat Earth conception.
What is it about this equatorial mount that you went out and put on different latitudes, claiming it was evidence the Earth's a ball, that can't happen if the Earth isn't a globe?
The angle of the mount's rotation axis corresponds to the latitude.
It corresponds to the latitude.
That's what we said.
So you're saying that it couldn't do that if the Earth wasn't a globe?
It wouldn't work
Why?
because it wouldn't accurately track the stars.
Why not?
Because geometry.
Because geometry?
Yeah.
Would you like to specify?
If you have objects rotating above a flat plane, you do think that's what the stars are, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't make claims as to what the stars are, dude.
I didn't say what they are. I'm just talking about where they
You
are.
literally
and
said
vaguely what they're doing.
To be tedious.
Okay,
so
no. He's trying to continue to ask me questions, but because he can't stay on track here.
Well, I'm just trying to confirm that you are the typical modern flat earther.
Oh, what is that? I don't have to listen to your little cliche labels. The Earth's provably a geostationary plane.
Hey,
The sky moves over top of it. You made a claim. You baselessly asserted that something couldn't happen if the Earth wasn't a globe. I asked you to specify it. You proved to the whole audience you don't understand it well enough to even pretend to explain that it's evidence for the globe Earth. That's why Scott's interrupting me at the end of my
And
conclusion.
I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to even attempt to get into all that detail with you.
Okay, you don't have the time. Is that what you said? Because why are you having this discussion then? Because you just
I didn't say I
claimed-
don't have the time. I said I'm not going to take the time to get into
Okay,
all
then
that
why
detail
are
with
you jump in
because of
talking
what
about
you're
all the
doing right
evidence you
now.
have? You just jumped in talking about all the evidence you have.
You asked
because you asked the question, he answered it.
No,
and then you
Scott.
started being obnoxious. And so he's
Scott,
saying
what
it's not worth it
happened
if you
was
act like this.
no. This is all being
I
recorded.
was asking about your plans. You asked me a question, and then I answered it.
Okay, you actually said that you have all kinds of methods of how you prove that the Earth was a globe, and I asked for just one, and then you said equatorial mounts on different latitudes. And then I asked you, how does that not work if the Earth's not a globe? And you can't even answer the question.
Well, it is.
So
I'm just not going to
let's
get
just
into
move
the
on.
Spot.
You said
Explain
geometry.
why the sun's
You said geometry, dude.
earlier with it.
What a clown. Wait, time out. What's the other tool you went out and used to prove the Earth's a ball, since that one clearly isn't doing that?
Phone on my camera.
Why are you saying it clearly isn't?
Camera on my phone.
You used your camera to do your camera on your phone.
Yes, I took a picture of the sun being in the wrong spot.
You took a picture of the sun on your
coordinates
on
in it
your
so that
phone.
you can find the spot that I took the picture from.
What? Oh, no one ever cares when I'm interrupted, though. So you took
No
a
one
picture
cares what you
of.
say.
People will care more
Because
if you
you're
didn't
suffering
interrupt
from
us much.
cognitive. You are suffering from cognitive dissonance. So a good way to
that's true.
disassociate yourself from the conversation is to pretend that you can actually have apathy about it.
You're not really having a conversation though with it. You just repeat what people say in a condescending way and make it.
No, I am forced to actually clarify your claims because they're that preposterous. And
No, you act like a child and then cry when people disagree with you.
No, once I lay them out,
Yeah.
it sounds so
No.
stupid. You
That isn't
consider
what
it to
happens.
be me mocking you, and it's literally
That
me
isn't
just
what- that
repeating
isn't
your
what
stupid
happens.
arguments.
This is what you'll do.
This
Like
is
someone else, you'll say,
recorded, Scott.
this is what. Okay, then just back. You'll hear what I'm saying. You'll say, "How did you prove this?" Whatever. He'll say, "Well, I used equatorial mounts." You go, "Equatorial mounts?" Like, yeah.
Yes, because
Well, how
you
did
can't
they?
just say
You
words,
just-
Scott. That
you
doesn't
just
mean
keep-
anything.
You just keep repeating what they say back.
It's
in a
That's
weird
not
way.
true.
It's not really
I
an
asked him
argument.
to explain how it doesn't work if the
And
Earth's
he
not a
said
globe.
It's based on geometry, and you went.
And I said, what is that? I
"Geometry?"
said specify.
And I did.
Specify?
I said
You might not
specify.
have heard it.
You said
But I-
specify.
Yeah, I said geometry. Feel free to
Geometry?
specify.
You said geometry.
Witsit.
It's
You may not have
literally
heard it,
recorded.
but I told
This
you.
is all y'all can do is try to
Then
run
go
me
back and
around,
listen.
dude. Y'all
You need to
clowns.
listen to it. It'll be
Witsit.
eye-opening for
Yeah,
you.
dude, every time that happens, Scott, I'm proven right. It's literally
Never
being
mind.
recorded.
It's never
dude.
happened that you got proven right.
You're
From
not
going back and
getting it.
listening.
Oh, but you're making it worse. You're digging your grave, bro.
I'm not.
You
Every
don't
time we
get
do this, you come back and you
Literally
say I was
every
right, or you
single
don't come back
time
at all.
I'm right, Scott.
No,
Every time.
Every single time. Every time you're wrong.
I played you over the speaker and Gamma Panda
No,
and
you
had to
haven't.
prove you
You
wrong
literally never
lifetime
come
and you had
back
to
with it. You
mute me
say-
because your own
You always
recording.
go.
Anyway,
it's being recorded. I'm gonna go
equatorial
get it,
mounts
and then you
doesn't
never
prove
show back
that.
up.
Equatorial mounts certainly doesn't prove the Earth's a ball. So I guess I'll actually tell y'all why not, since you just make baseless claims you don't even understand. So he claimed that the equatorial mounts on different latitude would prove that the Earth's a ball because of geometry. Also, of
Well,
course,
and
you can
why are
have
you saying that?
latitudes on a planar projection because it's Cartesian coordinates. That's what longitude and latitude is. So you're just adding a z-axis based
Okay,
on
wait a minute.
presupposition. Now
Wait
you're
a minute.
interrupting me
Witsit.
because you're a clown show.
Wait a minute. Witsit. Do you think that the North Pole is in the middle of the Earth?
I don't know exactly where the middle of the Earth is. I've never been there. You're
I'm
not
not
allowed
asking
to
you where
fly
it
over
is. I'm not asking you where it is. I'm
I
saying
don't
is
make
the North
claims
Pole
about
there?
things I don't know because I'm
Oh
not
my God.
ignorant like you are, man.
Do you
Because
have any
Witsit,
idea what
if
the
you-
Earth is?
wait a minute.
I don't know exactly
minute.
what the
If-
Earth is in entirety. No.
Witsit, if
What
you
ideas-
think that the Earth in any way
Well, the
resembles
Earth
an
is
AE map,
pr-
then
Mm.
those are not Cartesian coordinates.
Guys, you know I can't talk to multiple people at the same time. I'm
Yeah, sorry,
trying.
Slacker, you go ahead. It was your conversation. I was just trying some clarification off him.
What do I think the Earth is? It's provably a geocentric stationary plane. Large bodies of water do not curve. Every time that we go and measure distances over large bodies of water, they don't curve. We have
Yeah.
topographical measurements over land
Witsit.
that can't happen on a globe Earth with the convexity rate necessitated based on
Witsit.
being derived
Witsit,
from
Witsit,
the
you're
metrics claim of
spiraling.
the radius. How am I spiraling just because I fulfilled the claim? That's
Because you're
because he was in the
no,
middle of
Witsit,
the
you're
sentence.
talking about everything except the question I asked.
someone asked me about what to clarify my position on the Earth.
Yeah, and you've given me every detail except the one that I asked for. Do you think that the Earth even vaguely resembles an AE map?
Honestly, probably not.
Okay, you don't think that like the lines of latitude make circles or something?
What?
Do you think lines of latitude make circles?
What kind of question is that?
I'm trying to get a general idea of what you think the Earth looks like.
Okay, man. Here's the
He's got
deal.
no idea.
The Earth is. I'm telling you what I know, and you're saying I'm not
I
answering
don't
it
want to know
because
what you know. I
you
want
get
to
to
know what
keep
you
interrupting
think.
me, though, dude. So you're asking me what I think, but correcting me mid-sentence, dude. You're acting like a class A clown, bro.
All right,
So-
go
I don't
ahead.
think
I don't make claims that I can't verify. So you're saying I'm not answering because I'm not going out on that speculative limb that you're trying to bait me into so you can beat up a straw man. That's why you had to interrupt again.
I'm not asking you to verify
Literally, you would get
anything.
dismantled in intellectual form. Have you ever? Do you know what that is? If we went to a university and they hosted a debate between you and I, certainly Scott and I, you would be laughed out of the room.
You sound ridiculous. Like, why don't you stay on topic and act like an adult? You're just retroalizing and ranting.
Well, he's trying to explain
which
himself,
one? Pick out anything I've said, Scott. You think you can debate, smart guy?
Anything, you name it.
Okay. Can you please substantiate the physicality claim of a curve?
What do you mean by substantiate the physicality claim?
Yeah, can you physically substantiate the claimed curve of the Earth?
Sure, you can. What do you mean? You can go touch it? Is that what you want to do?
I can go touch it. How is that?
Yeah. Well, you identify where your horizon is, then you can go touch your horizon.
You can go touch the horizon?
What would you accept?
Hold on,
Is this
Waz.
before or
Let
after you
Veach
step
do
in the
this.
closet and go to Narnia, Scott?
What would you accept as a
Come on, Waz. You can't answer 3 or 4 questions. Let Veach ask him a question or speak to him. Veach says he can
Well,
touch
he
it.
asked for something. I'm asking what he would accept.
Go ahead.
Wait, Veach, can you please clarify for me here? You said that I can go touch the horizon.
Yeah, you can touch what was your horizon. So if you didn't.
Oh, so now it's what was your horizon?
It was what it was before, but you didn't hear me because you were over talking.
No, that was Waz.
So it's all being recorded
it's being
again,
recorded,
Scott.
Don't forget, it's being recorded.
I know.
What would you accept as a demonstration of the physicality?
No,
of the
calm down,
horizon?
calm down.
Waz, we want to
So
get
Scott
Veach's
says
claim,
that we
yeah.
can touch the horizon.
I'm on Veach's point, mate.
Calm down.
I'm on Veach's
I mean, he said that he can touch what used to be the horizon. So what that means is, implicit in that assertion, is that what you saw was a physical location, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a physical location.
So
it's not
when
necessarily in the right spot, but it's a physical location.
So when you saw the horizon, it was physical.
You're seeing a physical thing, yeah.
Okay, and it's physically where you see it.
No, it may be seeing it somewhere wrong, but it's physical.
Oh, so how could you go where you see the horizon and then touch it if you can't even determine where it's
Well,
at?
you can determine where it is.
How do you do that?
Seeing it, you may not be seeing it in the right spot. Well, you just need to know how much is it being refracted, or you need to have some sort of identifying way of a mark or some sort of marker. But there's going to be many cases in which you can identify what the horizon is. Okay, that's my horizon. And then you can go and physically touch it. It may not be in the same place that you saw it, but you can do it.
So you can go physically touch the horizon when it's in a different place?
Yeah, if there's a building on the horizon that you're seeing from 5 kilometers away, you can then travel those 5 kilometers and walk into that building, can't you?
Hey, we were talking about horizons, not buildings.
Can you walk into the building, yes or no?
Yeah.
There you go. It's a
We're
physical
talking
place.
about the horizon.
Yeah, but we're talking about the horizon.
Yeah, I am talking about the horizon. I'm talking
you're
about
talking
the building
about
that's 5
buildings.
kilometers away on the horizon that you can go to and walk into.
Okay, so on the horizon. So when I go to that building, can I touch the horizon?
Physical, isn't it?
So when I go to that building, before I walk in the door, can I touch?
You'll be on the horizon then. Yep.
So when I go to that building and before I go in the door, can I touch the horizon that is now there that I saw?
You'll be on the horizon to the person 5 kilometers back the other way, still standing where they were when you went to the building.
So let's take this a step further. Let's say we have 2 people and one person has a camera, and then you walk over there to that building, and then you're about to go in. You turn around. You're on the horizon that you saw before you walked there.
You're always on someone's horizon, yes.
Why? Okay. Well, what if I record the whole thing and it looks, when you get to that location, the horizon has actually changed based on what we can see?
Change depending on what?
Where it appears to be.
Is the building still there? Is the building still there or not?
Not in the same apparent location.
Is the building still there or not? Yes or no? It's a pretty easy question.
Yes.
Okay, so the building's still there.
But you're now,
it's on the
again,
horizon
talking
that you
about...
were previously looking at. Therefore, the horizon must be replaced.
Dude, you literally went back to the non sequitur of the building like a 5-year-old.
What's so difficult for you to wrap?
You're self-projecting.
Like,
there's clearly no difficulty on my end here.
Now you're on the horizon you were looking at.
No, because I just said, what about when the horizon?
Location.
You just want to all dogpile and interrupt me, hoping that you can claim victory like gammas. So you said that the horizon that I saw was physical. Scott said I could touch it. Then you said you can go to the building, and I said, well, can you go touch the horizon that you saw? What if it changes whenever we tape it?
Horizon,
and you said something about the building again, and now you're interrupting me for the 5th time.
Well, you did interrupt him, Witsit, to be fair.
No, Cypher just steamrolled in then. But this is Veach's claim.
Then he
Veach
did,
said,
but before
Veach
that
did
was
say
the
that you
same
can
thing.
touch
I'm
the
still waiting for
horizon.
an answer to the question, Chemo. If you go outside of that building and then walk next to it, that's going to be the horizon, isn't it? Physical place.
Yeah, but what if it's in a different location than before you walked over
It's
to
the
the
physical
building?
place that you're standing on,
What
isn't it?
if it's in a different location though?
Move over to that
So
location
what?
then.
So it's not physical, so you still haven't answered the question. So back to Scott, so you jumped in like a white knight, little gamma male, like you have to
Right,
save
well,
him like
that
he's
just
your
proves how much
daddy
of a
or
idiot
something.
you are.
Hey Scott, you said we can touch
Hey,
the
listen,
horizon. Would you like to
talk
correct
like
that?
this? Why can't you just have a normal conversation like a normal person?
Oh, Scott.
Because it
Okay, I
sounds
want to.
ridiculous.
Scott, can you tell everyone else to not interrupt you and I'll have a normal conversation with you then?
Well, I can't do that, but you
Because
can
I
help a lot by
would
not
demolish
by
you
not
in
interrupting
any form of
people, by
debate,
dumbing it
Scott.
down, by not being so insulting. Just
Scott,
being
I
like
won't just
normal.
insult you one time. How
I'm
about
not
that?
talking about me. I'm talking about what you just said.
Okay, how about this? I'll bet you $5 that you can't tell the
Your
rest of the
behavior
room.
is what's
I'll cash app
insulting,
it to
not
you
your
right
words.
now that you
Oh,
can't tell the
God.
rest of the room to not interrupt and you have a 5-minute
I think-
conversation with me.
I think betting me $5 is kind of the opposite.
It's not a
of what
bet.
should
I
be,
just said I'd
Jeffrey.
send you $5.
Okay,
I just know you don't have it in
I
you.
appreciate that.
I just
Very
know that
nice,
you won't
but-
take. Yeah, and that's I mean, it's just $5, but that's $1 a minute, $60 an hour. That's not too bad, right? But you're that scared to not let people jump
Send
in
us
and white
10
knight for
grand.
you. Thanks for
Send us 10
falling
grand. I'll
for
mute
it.
everyone for you, mate.
Give me a break.
10 grand,
Send us 10 grand. I'll mute everyone
Dude.
for you.
dude. Imagine
Yeah.
thinking that you were even worth the $5, bro. I literally come in here trying to help.
You don't even
some
get
of
a joke, do you? Fuck's sake.
I come in here trying to help you guys out. That's the
That's very
ironic
nice
part.
of you,
Scott, you say
was
that
trying to help you
condescending
out,
and
mate.
arrogant, bro. But Scott, you're scared to debate some guy that
I'm
the whole
really-
room has to spam memes about.
I promise you that I don't think anyone in here is here to debate you. It's not
Then
really
why
debate-
can't you just? Okay, then
Dude, what
did you
happens
say
with
that
you-
we can touch the horizon, Scott?
See, I can't even get a sentence out. What happens with you is you start over talking, you start just
I didn't
making
hear-
noise, you start rhetoricizing. It becomes a non-discussion.
Rhetoricizing?
For weird, yeah, rhetoricizing. That means like you're speaking in rhetorical terms.
Is that
and
an
doing it
actual
in
word?
I think it is. Yeah.
No,
Could be
I don't
wrong,
think it
but I
is.
think it is.
No, it's not.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. How do you know?
Probably.
How do you
What's
know?
new? So, did you say we could touch the horizon?
I'm gonna look up rhetoricizing. I bet you it's a word.
Okay, well, you're just gonna look forever. Go find the curve
Yes,
while
you
you're
can
at it.
I think you can touch what was the horizon to you and touch what's somebody else's horizon. You can go to this place. It's physical. Now you may not see it in its correct spot always, but the spot that you're seeing, the thing you're seeing, has a one-to-one an identity relationship with a physical spot.
Yeah, of course, but that doesn't mean that spot's curving.
Well, I didn't say it does. It just says you can. touch the
Okay, so I asked for evidence of the curve, bro.
No, you didn't. You asked, can you touch the horizon?
Well, you said you can go out and touch the curve.
No, you asked me, and I said yes.
You said you can go out and touch it.
Yes,
That was
you
your
can
answer.
touch it.
I said, "Where's the evidence
No,
for the
that wasn't-
curvature?" And you said
Actually,
you can go out and
Timo
touch
brought
it.
this up originally, saying I talked to people that said you can touch the horizon. I don't know why he thinks it's so weird.
No. This started because you said you could go out and touch it. That was your response.
Yeah.
That was your
It
initial
wasn't a
response as
response. You had
evidence
asked
that
me.
the Earth was
On
curving.
Timo's prompting, you had asked me about it, and I said yes, you can.
Yeah, you're right. He did say something about the horizon because you said you could touch the horizon. You just randomly said that. But either way,
Whatever.
dude, who cares? So you can't touch the horizon. It's where the sky appears to meet the ground. It's
Yeah,
only
so-
4 words, dude.
Yeah,
No, it's
so
5
if
words.
you're standing somewhere
6
where the
words.
sky appears, if you're standing somewhere where the sky appears to meet the ground for somebody, then you're standing on a horizon for somebody.
Sky appears to meet the ground.
Did
It's
you hear
6
what I
words,
said?
Scott. Do you agree with that definition?
Did you hear what I just said though?
No.
I said if you're standing on a spot where the sky appears to meet the ground for somebody else, well then you're standing on the horizon for them.
Okay. Because you're
By the way,
standing on
rhetoricizing
where the
is a word.
sky appears to meet
It
the
is a
ground.
word. Can we just take a moment and appreciate that it is a word?
Rhetoricizing?
Yep.
Oh, dude. I was wrong. If I'm just assuming you wouldn't lie about it. So, wow, dude, I learned something from you, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so was it on Urban Dictionary or something?
No, it's a academic paper. I'll post it.
Oh, you had to dig for it. Dude. It's not a word. So anyway,
I just typed the word into Google and it came up on the first page. What are you talking about?
all right,
In
maybe
fact, the
you're
first
right,
page is
bro.
full of it.
Yeah, I'll give you this one, man. You just got demolished on like the whole curve bit. I mean, that's like literally the first
I'm not
part
sure
of the
that's
globe.
case, but if you'd like to assert that, if that makes
Yeah. I will. I would like to. Yeah. Scott, how about this, dude? We can probably agree on some things. Would you agree that the most efficient way to find out if the Earth is curving is to go and try and measure the curve?
I don't know if it's the most efficient way, but it's a way.
What way would be more efficient to go measure or to find out that the Earth's curving than to measure the curve? What other way?
Well, I can see things without knowing their exact dimensions.
Okay, so you're saying seeing the curve.
Seeing
That's
evidence.
one thing you can do, yeah.
Okay, how do you see the curve?
I look at the horizon.
I never see the horizon curve. It's called the horizon. It comes from horizontal.
Well, it wouldn't look like that if it were flat.
It wouldn't look. Wait. The horizon wouldn't look horizontal if the Earth were flat.
Didn't say that.
That's a new one. What'd you say then?
I said it wouldn't look like that.
Which was horizontal.
It looks approximately horizontal either way.
Approximately? What?
Yeah. It would look like it faded off into the distance if it were flat.
No. If it were flat, it would be flat, i.e. horizontal. That's why it's called the horizon. So we don't see the curve. We see the opposite of curve, which is flat.
Yeah, the etymology of the word
we're beating around the bush here, guys.
We're not beating around the bush. I'm looking for evidence of the curve.
We should be asking Witsit what he would accept as evidence.
No, what you should be doing is providing the stupid flat earther with the overwhelming amount of evidence that the Earth curves.
What evidence would you accept, mate? What would you accept?
Any viable, repeatable, falsifiable, empirical evidence.
Like what?
Anything.
You've got plenty of stuff.
Just give me one.
You've heard about
pictures.
Half a dozen in this conversation.
Wait, I said one. Name that before you answer, really think about your best one. And then say one thing, we'll discuss how you are clearly not about to prove the Earth's a ball.
The photos are pretty
real verified pictures from space.
You have real verified pictures. What was the verification process like?
Other people doing it.
Other people doing it? Was the verification process of them doing it or not?
Yep.
So the fact that they did it verified that they did it?
Oh, in fact,
that's a confusing use of the word.
Wait, the fact that other people say that they did it verifies that they did it? Oh.
Yeah.
So,
well, you're saying, what are you
saying? Who verified it?
They haven't done it.
Who verified they did it? You said that you knew people. You said you knew people that verified they did it. You just said that.
No, I didn't.
You said that people verified it.
Yeah, I didn't say no to people.
Okay, whatever. So who verified
it?
It's semantics. I'm saying you know of who verified it. Who verified it?
Other countries.
Other countries verified what?
What do you mean?
Pictures
from space.
Other countries verified pictures from space from where?
Have you forgotten the
subject? From the United States? From NASA? Is that what you're saying? No, you lack substantive specificity.
From each other.
From each other. So you are saying that China...
If you've got a pile of independently collected evidence, they
Country A went up.
So the verification process is another governmental agency, is that right? So it's not people. It's not people. It's
verified each other.
Okay, but it's not other people. It's compartmentalization of another governmental structure, right? That's what you're saying. The verification process is that another government claimed to do the same thing. Because their pictures look different, so that's the opposite of verification. That would be a falsification. Say again?
Can you verify your compartmentalization?
In the government?
In any organization.
I said specifically
organizations as well.
I said specifically
private
government.
Organizations as well.
Name one.
Private organizations.
Name one.
SpaceX,
what do you mean, name one?
SpaceX gets $500 million in a single year annual allocation from NASA, from the government, and Elon Musk himself said they could have never got to quote unquote space without NASA.
Yeah, but they're private. You said.
Wait. Can you name another one that's actually private, please?
Sure, the Virgin Galactic or whatever.
Oh, where they never went to space and people died. Let's try another one.
They went high enough to know it's
people died and they didn't go to space. Let's try another one.
They did. They recently
went high enough to verify.
They did, I think, go to space.
Yeah.
Oh, they went to space. Did they? Feel free to link the evidence because I've actually researched this. None of you have.
Why do you just
because people.
Because it's funny. I've actually researched it, and y'all know nothing about it.
why does that negate them as a source because people died? Why does that mean that?
I'm saying some private company claimed that they were going to send people into space, right? And that it would just be for the everyday man. And then people died when they sent them on this trajectory that was wild, right? Very dangerous and ridiculous. But what they then did was continued funneling in funding. They continued to funnel in funding, and people paid tons and tons and tons of money. They're still just waiting to go to space. No, this is open. No, this is openly known and verified. Now you want me to go get a link for your claim?
What's your end? What's the end conclusion with what you said about all that?
This is y'all's claim, you morons.
What's your end conclusion with all that?
My point is that you okay, so I said, can we find evidence for the curve? Clown Show Scott said that we could touch apparent locations. Then someone said that we saw the curve from space. I said, okay, how do you verify that? Because you said it was verifiable. I said it was verified. I said, what's the verification process? You said people did it. I said, what? What verified that they did it? Well, that they did it. No, that other people knew that they did it. I'm gonna recap the whole conversation. Yeah, y'all don't want to hear it because I'm gonna do it like perfect.
No, because first of all, you
got it all wrong.
No, I've said it almost verbatim so far.
No, you haven't.
Yes,
almost. You've left out some key words.
No, what were those? What were the key words I left out? Since we have a savant on our hands.
The verification was by different people.
Actually, what I said was, he said that it was verifiable, and I then jumped in and said, what was the verification process? And he said it was other people. That's what he said. So anyway,
you went government.
So anyway, then exactly. He basically then said, "Well, it wasn't actually other people. I didn't do it. I couldn't do it. I don't know anyone that did it. It wasn't."
We gave you a second one,
bro.
And then you said, "Well, people died." And we said,
no. Okay. I said you can't just appeal to governments. Like, look, China and the U.S. both showed us pictures of cartoons. So then you said, "Well, I'm not done talking." Then you said,
"We don't need to go over this again. We don't need."
Oh, the Gamma's here. Gamma King's here.
Because we don't need you.
We don't need you to just jump in and belligerently say shit when you're just interrupting the conversation.
We don't need you to keep repeating what's just been said. We all know what was just said. What you asked for was a source for this. You were offered one, that wasn't good enough. You needed a non-government one. You were offered a non-government one, that wasn't good enough because they had a contract with the government. You were offered another non-government one, that wasn't good enough because some people had died. You're just shifting the goalposts, dude.
Okay, well, I'm actually in the have to be over the 100 IQ club mode, so I can't engage with you, unfortunately, Gamma Panda. But the truth is that first they appealed to governmental agencies after me having to.
You can just stay muted if that's what we're doing.
It's just stupid. It's just not.
You've got to fix this guy first.
You can't engage with me, so you stay muted.
Yeah.
He can't engage with anyone, Jem. He interrupts whoever's speaking at the time.
That's not true, dude. There's like 5 or 6 people that all want. No, dude, listen, man. Watch. See what? That's what happens. That's what I was about to say happens, and then you did it again. See, one person says something, and then I go to respond to them, and then 4 or 5 people then jump in saying other questions.
Living as a victim every day, Witsit.
No, honestly, what are you talking about? I'm not a victim. I love life. Y'all created me. You loved me. I'm no victim. I'm no victim. I love life, bro.
Victim. Absolutely. I have heard Witsit many, many times. Let's not be rude. Come on, guys. Witsit's a really good soul, right?
Is that we'll be having a conversation, and then you'll start to escalate the temperature of it by interrupting, and then by repeating it, and by sort of kind of like acting obnoxious when you'll do things like government. And as you
but Scott, I'm just trying to
hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying. And as you do that, that will cause people to become annoyed with you. And the more annoying you get, the more annoyed they get. And eventually, that's going to cause more than one person to talk at the same time, which then spirals you out immediately. And then
Scott, you're saying because of the.
Just let me finish the sentence.
Because you keep going.
Lecture, Evie.
You're psychoanalyzing me. No one cares.
Back to the subject.
I'm telling you what really goes on. You just give us a long rant about how it happens, and you always give the wrong story.
Okay, you know how many times, can I say something, please? You know how many times this conversation's already been had exactly to Witsit over and over and over? So you guys think you're going to sit here for 5 minutes and ramble on and derail the conversation because it's about feelings? And I know people have feelings, but we already addressed this millions and millions of times with Witsit and other people and me and supposedly on and on and on.
Thank you,
So
Stacey.
let's
Exactly.
get
I don't
back to
care.
the point about the Earth
Exactly.
and whatever he's discussing, because that's important, not this.
Well said.
Okay.
Agreed. Well said. We don't need to hear your feelings about me, so I'll try to not be as much myself because it triggers you guys. But yeah, I pronounce things certain ways, you know. But anyway,
I love you, Witsit.
I love you too. So y'all would then progress from the governmental compartment. From the governmental compartmentalization, y'all then progressed into saying private companies also do it too, Austin. You crazy, stupid flat
No,
earther. I said,
happened.
okay, what happened?
You said governments, and then you said, well, can you name a private company? And then we said,
I did not say that, Scott.
Yes, you did. There's a recording. Go listen.
No, okay. What I actually said was, you are saying people, and then he said governments. I said, oh, so you're saying a government and another government? That's the verification process? No. And then he said, then someone jumped in and said, no, there are private companies that go to space too. I never brought that up, Scott. But then I said, okay, name one. And then someone said SpaceX, which I knew someone would, which is why I said name one. And then I said, actually, they got $500 million with annual allocation from the U.S. government. And Elon Musk himself is on the record stating that they would never have gotten to space without NASA.
Yes. Well, there's still a private company. And then you said, we'll name another one. So we did. And then you said that people die. We've been over this.
Okay, so whatever. So the point is, the verification process. Are you saying that? Wait, are you saying that there's a verification process independent of government that I can go see the curve of Earth from space?
What we're saying and what Woz is saying is that lots of people have taken pictures of space independently of each other, and these pictures are confirming each other.
Hey, are you saying that there is a verification process independent of governments where I can go see the curve of Earth from space?
Sure, I just told it to you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Have independently taken pictures.
I know more about Virgin Galactic than you do. I told y'all what happened. Y'all told me I was lying. I know more about SpaceX funding.
We didn't tell you were lying. We agreed that people died.
You're right. You did. You're right. Y'all were honest about that part, but someone contended. To be fair, when I say y'all, I'm not trying to say everyone in the room, bro. You got to give me a break, man. Come on, there's a lot of people here. Someone said that.
Rocket Lab is another a private company that sends stuff to space.
Okay, and they successfully sent people up into space. How high?
Not people.
Oh, okay. So it is, yeah. So that's the thing. So there isn't an actual verification process that's accessible to us in any way that we can go that's independent of governments and go prove that there's a curve of Earth from space that can be seen.
Is that the only way that you can verify something?
No. But exactly, Jim. I guess you jumped in late, right? But the first part, I was just asking.
I did, yeah.
Y'all tell me how, right? And first it was that you can touch it, and then we progressed from but you can see it. And then we're like, then the horizon is horizontal. That's what we see. And then said, well, no, you can see a curve from space. And that's how we got there.
This is not what happened.
Well, what did I get wrong, Scott?
I'll tell you, well, it doesn't really matter. But here's the real point.
None of it. I said exactly what happened.
You asked for repeatable verification. We gave you examples, and now you ask for more detail. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Scott.
No, that's right. Woz is right. Yeah. The point is that you wanted to know how it is that these pictures are verified, and Woz gave you a perfectly good answer, and that's what we're.
What was his answer? What was his answer?
That multiple people have done it, they confirm each other.
Oh, so if a governmental agency that has... Listen, this is the problem with it, man. It's not like an individual is even held responsible or can be, right? It's just an entity. And it has levels of classification. The parties can be entirely innocent. Right? I mean, and that is the danger. And listen, Scott, this isn't debatable. This can be proven. Look at MK Ultra, dude. Look at Mockingbird. These are declassified.
Many people have gone to space. Many satellites are up there taking pictures, and these pictures are all self-confirming. This is a verification of.
They look different, though, Scott. That would be the opposite of self-confirming, whatever that means, or verification. They look different. There are different colors.
Well, see, colors. Every camera.
So they don't take real pictures, and they add the colors.
No, I said every camera has different color representation.
Okay, so they take real holistic pictures of the Earth, and they get different colors at the same time.
Yeah, any two cameras are going to have slightly different colors.
No, not slightly different colors. The Earth looks completely different.
Pictures of a landscape, for fuck's sake.
But it's not slightly different. The Earth looks completely different.
Well, that happens with cameras have different color profiles, and
okay,
it's
still round. Though.
So do you agree that if the Earth, do you agree that we shouldn't just be limited to having to trust the government? It should be 2021. Austin, you're such an idiot. We have 1,000 proofs the Earth's a ball. So what can I verify? Because I'm about to go all around the United States. I literally will do any test that y'all come up with. Name any test.
We
Name
don't
one
trust the
test.
government, but
Go ahead,
and I don't think that it's that important that we don't trust the government. But that's not the only way in which we know.
But okay, that's your opinion. You said I don't think that it's that important that we don't trust the government. I can give you 1,000 examples of the exact opposite of that claim being true. For example, we blindly trusted the government when it came to the Gulf of Tonkin. That got us in a war that we didn't win, and we lost all kinds of people, and then all kinds of people got addicted to opiates. Okay, that didn't benefit us. The government lied to us. They provably lied to us because they came out and admitted that they admitted that they lied to us, dude. It's declassified. It's not. I don't want to hear that again. I'm not having that conversation with you again, Scott.
I don't care what you want to hear when I'm talking about.
You always play the defense attorney of the government, even after they came out and admitted that they lied. They bold-faced lied to the American people. They justified it with national security interests.
You're doing the thing where you're not having a conversation. You're just ranting, dude. Like,
no, I'm not.
So Gulf of Tonkin is actually a more complex.
I don't want to talk about that though, Scott. We've already had that conversation, and you know it.
You can't. You brought it up, can you?
Oh my god, because he wants to divert away from the Earth, dude.
You brought it up, dude.
I just gave one example of how we can't just blindly trust the government.
You need to get a grip.
Right, he was trying to give an example.
But we aren't blindly trusting the government. You're blindly saying that they lie.
That's not true. No, that's not true. It's a straw man.
Hang on. You're adopting the position that our default position should be they're lying, even if there's no evidence that they're lying. And I don't think that's true. And the other problem I think you have is what does verification mean? Because you're saying, I think the idea you seem to be putting forward is the only thing that qualifies as verification is personal experience. And I don't think that that's true either. And the third and final point,
my God, Jim.
Very quickly, is I think if you're talking about the horizon being physical, you said yourself, it's where the sky appears to meet the ground. But the sky and the ground are both physical things. So how
are you going to actually let me answer all 3 points?
How able to produce something? Everything you're looking at is physical. How that's able to somehow be non-physical, I do not know.
Are you going to let me answer all 3 points?
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, you started off with a false dichotomy saying that via a straw man, I then have to assume that everything that they say is a lie. The false dichotomy is that it's either everything they say is true until proven false or vice versa. This is a false dichotomy because, well, it was implicit in your entire claim.
Dichotomy.
Number two, I told you you wouldn't let me get through all 3 of them, dude.
Well, because that isn't true. I wasn't saying it has to be one thing or the other. I said, for you, it's one thing. Your default position is they're always lying. I didn't say you have to have that position.
Jim, you said you let me...
That's the one you've chosen.
But you told me you let me respond to all 3. Okay, cool. So I just ignored all of that. You said you don't know exactly what verification is. Or how I'm using it more specifically is what you said. Well, I'm using it the way that it's used. So the third thing that you said is, how is the horizon physical, or how is it that I know it isn't physical because it has to be physical to have a horizon? Is that basically the summarize of your third point summarization?
You say it's the ground where the ground meets the sky. The sky is physical, the ground is physical. So how does looking at 2 physical things produce something non-physical?
Oh, this is called an optical illusion. Do you want me to get into the specifics?
You can if you want to.
Okay, well, it's the word that you people religiously parrot. It's a phenomenon called refraction, but it's actually...
Does that mean that what you're looking at has become non-physical now?
What you see is non-physical, yes.
So the sky that was physical is now non-physical.
No. What you see isn't...
You just said that. It's non. What we're looking at is non-physical.
The sky doesn't actually come down and meet the ground and block off past that, Jim. You didn't know that?
Yes, I do know that. However, when we're looking at a horizon, we're looking at sky and ground. This is how you described it, as these 2 things meeting.
It's not about how I describe it real fast, dude. It's definitions,
dude. It absolutely is about how you described it.
No, it's called the definition, dude. It's the Socratic method
that you provided.
Do you know what the Socratic method is?
Yes.
Okay, so we're defining terms so we can have an intellectual exchange that results in productivity. Horizon is literally defined as where the sky appears to meet the ground.
Right, that's what I
It's not
defined it
what
as.
I've
I agree
asserted
with
or
you.
my opinion. Okay, cool.
Right.
So
but your
that's not a
description-
physical location. It's in the definition. It says the word appears.
Right, but your definition, Witsit,
It's not my definition.
All right, the definition, the objective definition that we both agree on includes two physical things and nothing else. It's exhaustive in that. All there are in this definition is sky and ground, two things that we would both agree are physical. So I don't see how you can ever say that the horizon is non-physical when it's a product of two physical things. And at no point do you see anything other than those two physical things.
I'll be honest, Jim. I know you cannot handle the full depth of what my response should be. And that's just the honest truth. I literally know for a fact that it would be.
You arrogant wanker.
No,
if you've got something moronic to say, say it. Because I've been here 5 years, Sonny, and there's nothing that you can say that's above me. So go ahead.
It's
Try
okay.
me.
Calm down, hon.
Try me,
Calm down, baby.
fuckwit. Try me.
All right. I will, but I wasn't really saying it like it would go above you necessarily. It's just that if you are just going to be hell-bent on disagreeing with me, it would be a futile pursuit. But if you insist that I try...
You aren't going to find anybody in here that agrees with you.
Okay, yeah, you can't actually prove that the sky is physical.
I agree.
You can't actually prove that the sky is physical. I'll tell
physical.
you what you wanted. I told you what's going to go over your head. Here it is. You can't actually prove that the sky is physical. This is just a bold claim that you make. What is gas? Is gas physical? Sure, suppose we have physical outcomes or phenomena that's resultant of gas behavior, elastic collisions, etc. But what is gas? Can you see it? Can you isolate it? Have you isolated anything on the subatomic scale? Do you actually know what the sky? Yeah, you had to interrupt me. Here's the primary part. You actually have to define physical, right? So oftentimes in modern day academia, physical is, I'm still talking, is actually identified to be anything that has some phenomena in the physical world, right? But that isn't the only definition. Really, you can get conflated with physical and material. This is important to understand because the truth is that everything is, in fact, the ether, and it's nothing more than a certain frequency or vibration that manifests physically.
Okay, do you have a definition from a reputable source of the word physical which would exclude gas?
No, I just said based on the definition.
So do we have any reason to believe that gas is not physical?
Based on the definition of physical being something happening in the physical world, then yeah, gas is physical. But whenever it is conflated to mean
something
material
happening in the physical world. Hang on, say that again.
We're going with objective
physically occurring
definition.
phenomena.
We're going with objective definitions, aren't we?
No, it's just like electron. They don't actually go grab an electron. They know that there's a physical phenomena that happens. They isolate it. They call it the electron.
Something?
Do you have any reason to believe that gases aren't physical apart from this
gas
blabber?
is real. Gas is real. Is it not, Jim? You could put it in a tire. You could do these things.
Yes.
Gas is real. It is something here, right? But that apparent horizon, where it appears to meet the sky and the ground. It is not real. It is not physical. You cannot do that.
If I look at two buildings, one taller than the other, one is behind the other, one's obstructing the other, it doesn't make that building not physical or the point where one obstructs the other.
No one's talking about buildings.
The edge of one in front of the other, it doesn't make that suddenly become non-physical.
Hey, I got a question for you. Is the horizon that we see physical?
Yes.
The horizon that we see.
Lies.
I got it.
Like I said before, if you're 5 kilometers away from a building looking
Can I just get a yes or no? Shut up.
Shut up, Witsit.
That's what I'm arguing.
Now.
That's the point he said the same thing 4 times. Currently making.
Building that's 5 kilometers away on the horizon.
Man. Why do you keep jumping in?
Shut the fuck up. You had your go.
Yeah, I have got go.
This is your third time that you said the same
5
thing.
5 kilometers away, you see a building on the horizon.
You're gonna say
Can
it
you
again?
Then walk? Shut the fuck up, Witsit. Calm your fucking roll for a second.
If there's a building 5 kilometers away, then you walk away and you go to the door of the building. Is that still a physical building?
Everyone, as you do. I'm not going to finish speaking until I'm finished speaking. So shut the fuck up while I'm doing it. There's a building 5 kilometers away that you can see on the horizon. Can you walk to that building and walk into it? Is it not physical when you get to it? Yes or no?
Already had this conversation, bud.
Building is physical. The horizon that you appear to see is not.
So it was no less physical when you walked up to it than it was when you were 5 kilometers away from it.
Okay, now
it's
here's where
no one ever said it was.
As physical as it was 5 kilometers away.
This is why I stopped coming in here.
So how is that not a physical thing on the physical horizon? Please explain that to me.
Because we've been through this before. We've done this apparent safety shit. Do we need to do that again? Calm down. Even Kosha did the fish, right? Oh, the fish.
Why would you be this upset, my friend? I got a real question for you.
Good to know.
I got a real question for you. Why would you be this worked up and upset if you know
because
for
you're an arrogant wanker that won't shut up and let someone else finish what they're saying? Is what
as you interrupted me, you said that.
You're like me, Witsit. His default position, he's angry. He's like,
yeah. Okay,
I'm also Australian.
But what he's saying is correct, and you guys understand this. You're just trying to put away. I don't understand why you guys actually try to make this apparent horizon physical. We've been through this argument. I don't know how many times, and I just don't understand why you do.
Hey, let me say this.
If you're standing 5 kilometers away from something and you're looking at a building, is it not physical? Is it not there?
Okay, stop talking about building. That's a non sequitur fallacy, man. Jeez,
does it not exist?
Red herring fallacy. Red herring
on the horizon not exist now.
Before you go there, I've got some.
The building is an actual physical that was created by man that you can go in and wait. Let me finish, please. If you're going to say he's not going to finish up.
So what makes the ground that it's standing on, where you can see it, Stacey, from 5 kilometers away, what makes that ground less physical than the building it's standing on?
But it appears that horizon is not, honey. Okay, the ground is real. Standing on it.
Things disappear behind the horizon, don't they?
Let me finish, please. Let me finish, please. Let me finish, please. I'm not talking about me. Finish, please, because I was talking.
That's how weak your argument is, dude. You have to talk over a female, dude.
You guys know that the side
you can fuck right off, Witsit.
You should show some common courtesy, dude.
You just like to argue, and this is what you guys do.
Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna step out. I'm about to leave.
Before you go, tell us about your tour.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go to the Georgia Guidestones. We're gonna go to the Georgia Guidestones tomorrow, and then we're actually gonna see if Polaris lines up in the hole like people say at night. And we're also going to see in the day, of course, little creepy encryptions. Then we're going to bust back east, hit the coast all the way down, make long-distance observations over long distances of bodies of water that physically cannot curve because that's just how they work. Then we're going to take time-lapse footage, et cetera, everywhere. We're going to go to mountains, et cetera, loop down Florida, pop back up. Then we're going down the coast all the way into Texas, then popping up to Oklahoma. Then we're extending down through up to the west coast, all the way up the coast, back all the way over the other side, over the top of the U.S. to the East Coast again. That's the idea.
What is wrong with you, Witsit? You're going to Texas and I left?
How am I going to pay for everything? Is that what you asked?
No, I said, how long is it going to take you?
That we don't know, man. We don't know. And that's why it's just, we only planned it out on a section. Because a lot of people might think we're crazy for this, but many people call him God, but it's Yah, and he's real, and he's gonna lead it. So that's what's gonna happen. And y'all should go check out my channel, man. The last video I posted, we got a special guest. You may have heard of him. Barack Obama jumped on. He's a big fan. Yeah. So that's about it. And I was just gonna say though, I'm dead serious about this. If someone wants to DM me, please, gammas, don't DM me with some nonsense. I get plenty of that. But if anyone seriously thinks they can come up with a test that they think would somehow prove the Earth's a ball, that they want us to do, because we're literally going to do it all around the United States. Just let us know. You want a long distance observation somewhere that we're going to be, let us know. Let us know what you want us to do. Because one thing that we should be able to agree on is that we should all be in this together if we were lied to, which means we should be in the process of not being scared to go test it. And so we're going to go do that, because it seems that globe earthers oftentimes just never go actually test it
with a bunch of toilet paper and a couple of duct tape.
Right. So if anyone wants to DM me an actual test, I'll do it. I'll catch up with y'all. Witsit gets it on YouTube.
You're going to remember to get the duct tape.
Thank you.
It's really important that people want to do something to show people and give people information. So for me, I really think you guys should just at least give the credit for that and let him speak on that.